Hello, welcome to Emerging Motherhood. My name is Anita. Victims of abuse will often say like, well, he didn't hit me, or, it wasn't that bad. It's not like he left bruises on my face or something. But even emotional abuse has physical symptoms. And if you've been in any sort of emotional, toxic abuse sort of situation, it literally causes thinning in your brain. There's an article on Psych Central, and it says that emotional abuse is linked to thinning of certain areas of the brain that help you manage emotions and be self-aware, especially the prefrontal cortex and temporal lobe. So you are having physical symptoms, even if it's just emotional, even if he's just hurting your feelings every now and then. There are physical symptoms that are happening. You just can't see them. There's other physical effects of emotional abuse, not just on your brain, but on your body. I actually, the other day, driving home from my boyfriend's house, I saw a sign. I've actually seen this sign for years. It says psychic reader, like $10. And I was like, "Rawr!" And I pulled in. It was a total waste of money and it felt like a scam. But emotional abuse has physical effects. It has physical symptoms. You just can't see them. The psychic lady, one of the only things that she said was, she was like, you can't live in constant stress for so long because living with this dis-ease in your body causes disease. I was like, what? There's dis-ease. You are uneasy in your body. You have stress for constant, really long periods of time. It causes disease. There are lots of people that say, oh, after they finally finished their battle, then they had a battle with health, a health scare that they had to go through, because living for such long periods of time at really, really high levels of stress absolutely causes physical changes to your body. And if you're not aware of it and you're not taking steps to combat it and to actively heal, it is degenerative. It's only going to get worse over time. You can't be in a shitty relationship and it not affect you. It's going to affect you. It is slowly killing you. That's how it feels, and that is what's happening. There's actual brain damage. It causes other mental health conditions like anxiety, depression, low self-esteem. It could trigger eating disorders. It can affect your attachment challenges. So if you've already had some attachment issues just from your own growing up, once you get into an abusive relationship, it's gonna exacerbate those attachment issues that you had. It can help create emotional disconnect and apathy. I remember I just recently found a journal that I wrote in. I had actually just had my first child, and I was writing and just saying how empty I felt inside. And looking back and reading it now with all this perspective, I was just in such a shitty relationship and I was just pouring. No matter how empty my cup got, I was pouring. And it was draining me, and I could read it in my own words. I'm glad I've always taken like journals and notes. That's a great part to healing, getting that stuff off of your chest. Obviously the damage is reversible, even in the article, and I will link the article below on Psych Central. It is reversible. You can heal the brain damage effects, you can heal the body effects. You don't have to succumb to it. And obviously the sooner you leave the situations, the sooner your healing begins. Somebody the other day on TikTok just asked me, can you heal while you're still in an abusive relationship? And I think that's the only way you actually leave one, is you start healing and you start growing and you start seeing things, and you get to a point where you realize, you know what? Your issues are your issues and my issues are mine, and I'm gonna go heal, and I hope you heal too. And that's where you kind of part ways. The brain damage is reversible, but like, why continue to put yourself through that? When you can start seeing what's going on correctly, it becomes obvious like it needs to end, and it becomes obvious like, whoa. It's also really damaging for children. So in a child's developing brain, so we are adults who have gone into these relationships maybe naively, however, but we at least have a completely formed brain. If you're a parent in a situation like this and your child is being exposed to this kind of abuse, you have a really great responsibility to get your child safe, break the cycle. This type of abuse on a developing brain literally shrinks parts of their brain, their hippocampus, their amygdala. Those are the parts of the brain that help you in the future process your own emotions. So you're literally stunting your child's emotional aptitude staying in an abusive relationship. A lot of people's retort to that is they'll get 50% custody. The kids are still going to be exposed to it. You're only looking at the negative. You're not seeing the positive. At least the kid gets a break from it. The kid gets to see what normal is. There are so many reasons to not stay in an abusive relationship when you have children, and the biggest being to give them a break from the abuse. to say, oh, but then they're gonna have to be there 50% of the time. So right now you're admitting 100% of the time they are kind of exposed to the abuse, and you are validating it and saying, yeah, no, this is how we live life. We're mean to the people that are closest to us. Our home is not a safe place, and we protect the mean people. We pretend everything's okay to the outside world. That's what you teach them. It's not okay. You know all those jokes, those videos on the internet where you see that they got the baby this beautiful toy for Christmas and the baby's playing with the box? And then, or even the funny videos where they put a fucking banana in the box and the baby's like, wow, I got a banana. The baby's all excited. You know why? Because babies want to do what you're doing. They don't want to do what you tell them to do. They know that that plastic phone with the red and green light up buttons is not a real fucking phone, and that's why they throw it and still grab your phone. They want your phone. They're going to do what you do. If you're in an abusive relationship your whole life, if you're sacrificing your happiness your whole life, they're going to do that. And then if they're exposed to it as a child and parts of their brain are literally shrunken and they're so predisposed to this, it's your responsibility to break the cycle. But it is reversible. You can change it. And obviously one of the best ways to heal from the damage is to, number one, get out of the abusive relationship. Number two, get therapy. You don't have to be, that's one of the things that annoyed me. No shade. With all love and respect, when I started healing, all I wanted to do was learn. One of the books I read was Fuck Like a Goddess. And it was a great book. And she's got great insight. But also she talks about this like journey she took, traveling and exploring. And I was a little bit like, oh, cute. Okay, well, I wish I could fucking find myself on a beach in fucking Thailand. I bet I would fucking heal a little bit faster with that also experience. It was a bit annoying. So coming from a person who did not heal on the beaches of Thailand or wherever, again, with all due respect, if I had the opportunity to heal that way, I would. I'm not throwing shade or harm her way. Just not all of us can afford that luxury. Some of us have to heal while still feeding our kids and working 2 jobs. And I'm here to show you that you can and you will. And I want to encourage you to do that. Once you realize that it's literal brain damage that's causing you to stay in this abusive relationship, and once you start to heal and get the therapy and move on, it's time that you love yourself. And that is the most foreign fucking concept on the planet. And I remember even growing up being like, love yourself. What the fuck does love yourself mean? That's so fucking stupid. Okay, I love myself. What does it even mean? I thought it was the stupidest thing. And I went through my whole life not knowing what it meant. And I got married not knowing what it meant. And I thought I was able to love other people not even knowing how to love myself. And then my life blew up. And I think I understand what it means to love yourself. And these are the ways that I learned how to love myself. And also it has a lot to do with my abuse. Since the abuse that I went through, that I feel was the straw that broke the camel's back, had a lot of sexual humiliation to do with it, for me it was important to take back my sexuality and understand it. And so since he was having me film these videos masturbating to post online to, use against me, I was like, well, if I was doing it for the fucking video, let me do it for my fucking self now. So then I went and masturbated and I was like, oh, well, that feels good. And guess what? Just like emotional abuse causes brain damage, you can hack your fucking brain. And one of the quickest ways to love yourself is to fucking love yourself. Like literally love yourself. When you orgasm, okay, listen to this. In order to figure out what was going on in our brains, researchers had people orgasm while they were being examined under MRI. So they were in the little fucking MRI tube, like doing the fucking MRI thing, and they were like having an orgasm. They fucking found so much. The logical part of your brain basically shuts down during sex. This is important for 2 reasons. Number one, when you're in that toxic relationship and you guys have this really passionate, hot sex, it is just another tool of manipulation. The logical part of your brain shuts down. You're gonna forget all the mean things this person did to you, and you're just gonna feel what you're feeling in that moment. And of course, the shit feels good, usually. Also, multiple spatially remote parts of your brain are involved when you're having an orgasm. So, we're talking about brain damage. When you're having an orgasm, multiple different parts of your brain are being stimulated, okay? When you orgasm, your brain releases a surge of dopamine. During orgasm, your brain is working overtime to produce hormones and neurochemicals. One of them is dopamine. It's called the pleasure chemical. It offers more than just a good time. It's more of a learning chemical, helping to make notice of rewards like food and sex and figure out how to get more of them. So when you're having sex with the wrong person and you're allowing yourself to orgasm with the wrong person, you're producing dopamine that's making you want more of them. Sometimes a toxic relationship is more akin to an actual drug addiction than it is just this love interaction. You have hacked your brain, and the brain damage from the abuse, and then the continued brain stimulation in other ways, like having sex and orgasming with this person, is causing you to stay linked with that person. But all those things that I'm saying that link you to that person, if you just remove that person and cause yourself to orgasm, all those things are gonna happen for you. It's like literally science. It's not a joke. I'm not trying to be funny. Like literally, masturbation will scientifically cause you to love yourself. You're gonna feel really good and you're gonna be like, oh, whew. It helps you relax. It helps you fall asleep. If you're having an anxiety attack, this is like a weird tip I learned. You can try to masturbate to try to bump your brain out of the anxiety attack. I've tried it and it has worked, because we've grown up to think sex is bad and dirty and our bodies are gross and yucky, but they're not. They're normal. It's a part of life. Everybody does it and it's okay. And it's super helpful for your brain. If you're getting out of an abusive relationship, one of the ways to protect yourself is to stop having sex with that person. Stop allowing yourself to give them the most fucking vulnerable parts of you. You're actually naked in every way, in every sense. You're naked, no clothes, nothing hiding. You can't even hold in a fart if you wanted to, because you're in positions. Do you know what I mean? You are the most vulnerable you've ever been, and you're gonna do that over and over and over again with this person that's hurting you, that you're trying to leave. Yeah, they're gonna hound you for sex. Okay, I don't want to do that with you anymore until things are better. I don't want to do that. I don't want to give myself to you like that anymore. That's a very reasonable thing to say. And a loving partner respects that. A loving partner takes that as the flag that it is and says, whoa, let's check in. If you don't even feel like you can be vulnerable with me like that, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? That's yucky. Also, oxytocin is released during both orgasm and breastfeeding. So this is that love, amor. No te quiero, te amo, love. Love, like bonded love. So if it's not the good love, it's the trauma bonded love. The oxytocin that's being released because you're orgasming with this person. Or orgasming with yourself so that you fall in love with yourself again. Because a lot of times too, when we're in these relationships and we're having sex and they're satisfying all your needs, your self-love game kind of falls off. But it's falling off just like everything else, just like the frog in the boiling water. Do you know what I mean? Like, start to come back to yourself and find yourself. It's kind of like the keys to a house. If the janitor always has the keys and the owner of the house never has the keys, well, what happens when you need to access parts of the house? Like if the only way you know how to come is because this person touches you this kind of way, well, how are you ever going to enjoy yourself if you're not with this person? Like you're setting yourself up for disappointment to always be with this person. Learn how to love yourself, and it literally starts with actually loving yourself. You're going to hack your brain with the dopamine and the oxytocin to give yourself the confidence to see yourself hot and to see yourself glimmers and glimpses, to see yourself the way that other people see you and the way that somebody who loves you sees you. And eventually you just keep on with the glow up. Having an orgasm stimulates your brain in the same way drugs or music does. You know how they say like musical people are just like different. Elvis Presley and like Kanye West and all kinds of like really good musicians. Like there's something to Jimi Hendrix. They're different. They can just do different things. Their bodies work in different ways. Their brains work. Beethoven, they're different. Drug addicts, like no matter how much you try to appeal to them, their brain works in different ways. It's the same. When you're having an orgasm repeatedly with someone, that's also why having an orgasm at the same time with a partner is really powerful. You're both experiencing the same thing at the same time. It's like, it's very bonding. So instead of giving that away to someone else, love yourself and give it to yourself. Also, orgasm and pain actually activate the same areas of the brain. So orgasm and pain activate the same areas of the brain. So this person who's causing you pain, who then causes you pleasure, they heal you. You know, like they're the one that hurts you, but then they're the one that's like, oh, I'm so sorry. But then they're the one that's also helping you orgasm. They are activating your brain in so many ways. You need to do it yourself. Orgasms are super powerful. Don't be giving them bitches away. Okay? Also, this was really wild to hear. The brains of women tend to keep releasing oxytocin even after orgasm. So that can explain why maybe sometimes women feel a deeper connection in sex and men can a little bit more easier detach. I'm not making generalizations. I'm just saying. The point is, orgasms are huge. Learning to love yourself is hard. I understand that after years of not feeling up to par, having somebody put you down, it's hard to look in the mirror, no matter what the fuck you look like, no matter what size you are. You can't look at somebody and say, oh, she's a size 4. I'm sure she had an easy time. It doesn't matter. Our brains dysfunction and tell us we're crap and all the ugly things that we say in our heads. It is hard to love yourself. It's not hard to put a vibrating thing on the parts that tickle and make them laugh. Do you know what I mean? It is a first step that gets you to starting to love yourself and feel better. You'll sleep better. It literally relieves stress. Another way to love yourself is, you know, when you really, really love somebody and you want to make them feel special. So you're like, this is what I like. I like to give them thoughtful little gifts. Like, oh, I saw this thing at the store and it made me think of you. Or I know you like this candy, or, you know, little things that just become thoughtful. Whatever those little things that make you feel loved, do them for yourself now. So instead of, you know, you used to go to the store and see your partner's favorite candy and buy it for them. Now when you don't get it for yourself, I know that there's plenty of times that you're like, oh, I don't need it for me, but you would buy it for somebody else. Okay, we'll do that for you. You wouldn't stop at the store for yourself, but if they called, you would, because you like just, you don't want to hear their mouth, so you like go the extra mile for them. Start doing that shit for you. Start putting in that little bit of extra energy for you when you're a little bit tired, but like, ugh. Love yourself the way you were loving them. Give yourself that last bit of energy that you had, because then tomorrow the one who benefits is you. Tomorrow you have what you needed because you stopped at the store for yourself. You wouldn't have done it for yourself. You would have done it for them. But now you flipped it. Now you're going to do it for yourself. You're going to put yourself first. And you're going to see that now you're like, oh, fuck, damn. You're like, good job, Anita. Way to go. You fucking got gas yesterday. So now when you're running a little bit late, it's okay because I got gas yesterday. I stopped off for myself. I showed up for myself. All the things that you do or used to do for this person, literally just shift that focus. Like, what would I normally do for them? Like, you know, what's there every night? What's his favorite meal? Oh, well, I know he doesn't usually like to have meatloaf and then ribs, so I would make chicken, but you know, I really like ribs. Like, make what you want to make. Do the things that you want to do. Start filling your cup first, because anybody who loves you wants you to take care of yourself first. Anybody who loves you is happy to pause what's happening so that you can be okay. And if they're not okay with it, those are red flags. Check in with them, check in with yourself. It is a hard concept to wrap your head around. It is a hard idea. It does feel cheesy to be like, I love myself, but literally it is scientifically proven. Positive affirmations, the words you say to yourself, you know, you wouldn't say nasty things to your children that you love, somebody that you genuinely love. You don't say nasty things to them. You don't, you know, when they make a mistake, you're not like, God, you're such a fucking idiot. Why'd you drop that? Don't do that to yourself. You know, every time you drop something, God, I'm so stupid. No, you're not stupid. Oh, that slipped out of my hand. You can still say something, but don't be so negative to yourself. Even those small little words you say under your breath, every little thing matters. Every little thing matters. Love yourself the way you love your most prized person in your life. Whoever that is, the person that you would never want to see harmed. Love yourself. Do for yourself the things you would do for them. You make your kid really cute little lunches and da-da-da. Do that for yourself every once in a while. You wash the tub and give your kid a nice bath. Do that for yourself. Think of yourself sometimes. Because also the people around you want to experience the things that you love. My kids think it's super cool when we have a dinner that's mommy's favorite, and they're like, oh, that's cool. You know, like, people who love you want to know about you. They want to know about your stuff. They want to experience your stuff. They want to live life with you. Allow them that. Put yourself first and love yourself first. Rupi Kapoor said it perfectly when she said, how you love yourself is how you teach others to love you. I love you. So, literally, okay, and, hold on, let me push my mouth. Let me go drink water.